bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and hoes and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes,
facts, boots,
and other stuff.
In this week's issue, Ulysses Solomon Archer.
Welcome into episode 4 of Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach, and joined by the Dino Mutt to my Blue Falcon. It's Mike.
I like that one.
Yeah, see? And it actually counts. I was thinking before I started, I need to make sure it's a comic one, and those were Hanna-Barbera cartoons. But recently, DC actually wrote Blue Falcon into Batman Inc.
Really?
He's a part of,
Oh, wow.
they own the rights. So Blue Falcon technically is a comic book character now. So yeah, Blue Falcon and Dynamite.
I used to love Blue Falcon and Dynamite.
I did too.
And then Plastic Man, that cartoon.
Do you remember there was one, and I'm not like, because Cartoon Network would have like 70s weekends and stuff, or 80s, where they'd play old, when I was growing up, when Cartoon Network played all cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like the Super Globetrotters where they all had like superpowers and stuff.
I do remember that. Yeah, that was stupid.
I don't know why I thought
that was
about
wonderful.
But
Super Globetrotters.
Super Globetrotters.
Was it called that?
Yeah, I think it was.
How lazy.
I don't-
That's rough.
It was. And like their powers are not good.
Power of basketball.
Maybe we just need to do a special episode about the Super Globetrotters.
Yeah, I would love that.
Oh, that was great.
That.
So, Mike, today's episode, before we get into it, real quick, just quick business we need to take care of every single episode.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder news.
Great.
I read a leak, or apparently a leak, air quotes, that your new Batman, Robert Pattinson, is not a fan of Zack Snyder's DC movies.
First off, Zack Snyder is a leak.
Like the vegetable?
Yeah, he's a leak. Skin that sucker. Yeah, I'm sorry that sparkly Batman doesn't like him. That's why. Does it say why?
He's just not a fan.
He's just not a fan of his movies.
Yeah, of like Batman v Superman.
Well, then he's got a brain. Is what you're saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is a completely different. It's not a Zack Snyder Batman movie. It was just.
Thank God.
Well,
I don't want him touching Batman. You know what I mean? Other than like throwing him in with everybody else, I do not want a Zack Snyder standalone Batman movie. That sounds awful.
Could you imagine? He would find like an arc and just make it a 4-hour movie. We talked about it. He's to the epic part of it.
He'd probably bring the nipples back too. You know? Yeah.
As far away from Schumacher as possible. All right.
Schumacher.
Today's episode.
And you know what? At least with Schumacher, they stopped giving him money to make other things.
That's true.
They didn't just go, yeah, that was awful. Do it again. That's what they do with Snyder. That's my whole problem with it.
See, I don't think Snyder's as bad as Schumacher, but
no,
George Clooney had a bat card. He had a Visa. Remember a Visa?
I understand. They were trying to get
Arnold
to the
Schwarzenegger
TV show is what they were doing.
But the TV show was at least, cute. It's quirky. It's fun.
Yeah.
This was just ridiculous.
Make it funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Thanks, guy in the ivory tower. Will do.
All right.
Let's make that funny.
So today we have another hero.
Okay.
Because it's better to be on the right side of the law.
Sure. Absolutely.
But man, oh man, Mike, is this just weird? Does not begin to describe it.
This is weirder than Humphrey Dumpler?
Yes.
Really?
Just because here's what happened with this. First of all, I'll introduce you to our character. His name is Ulysses Solomon Archer.
Okay.
Which, of course, would be used as an acronym for USA.
USA, hero. Mm-hmm.
So it's super patriotic.
Sure.
He goes by US.
Okay, yeah.
So
sure.
I will be referring to him as US a lot and occasionally just as Archer by his last name.
Okay.
Just to get that out of the way.
None of that really bothers me so far. I mean, that's great.
No, it's 1983 is when this was created, but he's only around for he has a series. It's a 12-issue series.
Okay.
If you look in my research, like usually you get started like Wikipedia, you find ways where to start and all that. There is nothing on this. Like it is so little.
The first paragraph up here, it says that the series was produced and based on a license of the US-1 Trucks slot truck toy line from Tyco. So,
but it's not mentioned at all in any of this.
Really?
But I looked it up.
He doesn't drive a slot truck?
No. He has an 18-wheeler. We're getting
Okay, great.
This is a good one. Yeah, exactly. This
Yeah.
is a great one. But I found that it was based on that, and I found that Tyco made like a US 1 just a tractor trailer system. They made like you remember how they had the racetracks?
Yeah, the slot
Apparently
tracks,
they had one that looks like a highway that has X's and stuff with like tractor trailers in case you didn't want to race and you just wanted to drive cars down an interstate.
So it was one of the first simulators. You know how they have all those simulator games now where you can European truck driver or whatever.
Yeah.
And all you do is drive a truck.
Yeah.
Nothing exciting happens.
No.
You just drive a freaking truck.
That is
Boy, that
true.
sounds fun.
Yeah, this was just the actual, you got to hold down a button.
I don't know why I
and
stopped
watch it.
playing video games.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's always invigorating.
Well, that's great.
like that.
That's great. This is a shoehorn character based on
Basically.
a slot truck.
And it is created by Al Milgram
Uh-huh.
and Herb Trimpe.
Okay. Who are they?
They're the creators of this.
That's all you know. Okay. Congratulations, Alan Herb.
Mike, I will tell you, I did not follow the rabbit hole down them too much because
Good.
it was created in 1983 and it bleeds over into 84 and it ran for 12 issues.
12 whole issues.
Yes.
great.
I read all 12 of them. And I
That's-
can't even say that because it was so dense and not dense in like, oh, it was hard to read through. It's just, it was just so hard for me to get through it.
Yeah. It was just bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, in the greatest way. So let me set our story here for
Oh,
you.
shoot. I just saw a phrase I really enjoy.
That's
I'll tell you about it when you get to it.
Yeah, and the beauty of this too, Mike, is I started typing these notes out, and I usually have it. A lot of stuff that I'm going to get into, I didn't put in. It's just like tips for me to bring things up because this is it's weird.
Yeah.
Our hero again, U.S. Archer,
Okay.
right?
U.S. Solomon Archer.
U.S. Solomon
sure,
Archer.
sure.
Sorry.
Yeah.
U.S. He's just a regular kid, right? He's growing up as part of a family of truckers.
Yeah.
And it shows them like they're this giant happy family. He has an older brother named Jefferson, goes by Jeff.
Use those two words. What you've got it written in there. Use them.
Gypsy truckers.
Yeah, there we go. Gypsy truckers.
I
Ding,
don't-
ding, ding, ding. That's a great phrase.
That's how I put it. Gypsy truckers, as you will, because
Gypsy truckers.
they don't have a house.
Yeah.
They just, I didn't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
They just travel.
No, I think Gypsy truckers is great.
So I have a little bit of insight into this because my father was a truck driver.
Right.
And so I got to, I mean, I don't know why. I don't know if like my mom talked him into it or I wanted to, but I remember like I went on like an overnight trip with him.
Right.
And he had a sleeper cabin.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
He was an over the road guy.
He
He
was.
was gone for
Exactly.
a few days or
Yeah.
whatever. Sure.
And in that sleeper cabin, like it might have been able to sleep both of us
Right.
if we had to.
Right.
This is a family of 4.
Yeah, that's great.
But somehow they're squeezing into that.
Sure.
And then you also have to think there's only 2 seats. So the kids are always in the sleeper cabin the whole time, but they travel in their 18-wheeler.
Well, I don't know if you know anything about gypsy truckers, but they can slip through anything that they can get their beak through. I don't know what that means. It's something Aaron said a while back, and I just completely ripped it off. But I was thinking somehow they can like dislocate their bones or something, and crawl into small spaces or
I got
whatever.
you.
Yeah,
See,
that's
I
what
was
that
thinking. I just watched Snatch recently, and I was thinking of Brad Pitt's character.
I really appreciate the awkward silence.
Well,
It was great. Yeah,
I was
great.
like, I missed something. It's not explained what happens. Parents die
okay,
because
well, it happens sometimes.
in any comic book, we can't just have a character who have parents that are alive.
and that's it. Sometimes
like
it happens.
95% of any comic book hero has dead parents.
Sure.
Yep.
Disney people too.
Yeah.
Disney characters.
Yes.
All
No,
their
I mean,
mothers die.
or fathers.
Yeah, that's true.
Simba lost a Kimba, technically, but that's a different time.
Walker?
No.
Oh.
Not the basketball player. Kimba the White Line, like Disney
got
ripped
you.
off. Yeah, no, dude. Time for a different time.
Sure.
So after their death, there's a place that they always stopped at called the Short Stop, which is like a truck stop.
Okay.
And it's ran by, and these names are great, Mike, by Ed Wheely, whose nickname is Papa.
So Ed Papa Wheely.
Ed a Papa Wheely. I don't know what I did there. So he was like a drag, race car driver, and then he retired and started working at a shortstop. But
Sure.
that's how he gets the name Papa Wheely. Because,
Right. Yeah, that
as
makes
everybody
total
can
sense.
tell you in drag racing, you want a Papa Wheely instead of.
Yeah, you know, and it's so fortunate when people with names that fit their lifestyles are able to.
Oh yeah,
you know,
no, especially like this whole group together. Then he also works with Wide Load
so
Annie.
having said that, Wide Load Annie worries me a bit.
She's a bigger lady.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this is the 80s and they don't care about stuff.
Sure. I got
Some of the quotes in there, Mike, it was bad. Like just bimbo randomly thrown out.
Bimbo.
It was weird. Like things I hadn't seen in forever. And I'm like, oh, all right. But yeah, Wide Load
Lady
Annie.
Bimbo.
Wide Load Annie because she's hefty.
She's big.
Yeah. I don't know if they're like married or what, but her and Ed like work at it's their shortstop.
Gotcha. Sure.
So basically after US's parents die, they take the kids in. And
he has a brother named Jeff who isn't good at school. That's what it says.
Yeah, he's not. He's not really great. He has a hard time. But US wants to be a trucker.
So he just decides to drive a truck instead. That's a great sentence.
Yeah. Basically, like some of these, I just, as soon as I'm done reading, I just,
I get it. Yeah.
Tap out as I go. So yeah. So basically, Jeff isn't good in school. He decides to drop out and drive a truck instead.
The dumb gypsy trucker.
But US wants to become a truck driver. He wants to be like his parents.
Sure.
And that's whatever he wants to do. But good old Papa Wheelie makes him go to college instead.
Thank God. Thank God Wheelie was around.
Because that's what his parents would have wanted.
Sure.
His parents would have wanted US to go to college, but his parents couldn't have gave a crap if Jeff went or not.
Stupid Jeff.
They were like, we know Jeff's not as bright as US.
Well, Jeff's the one that always used to leave the cap off of the gas thing. I mean, they would stop and get gas, and he'd just leave it off. People would point and laugh as they were going down the street.
Stupid Jeff.
Stupid Jeff.
US agrees to it. He's like, you're right. All right. This is what my parents would have wanted.
Sure.
So he goes to college. And Mike.
Does it say what college?
No.
He goes to U.S. college.
He goes to U.S. college.
Sure.
It might have. I don't remember.
I got you. Sure.
Made up university.
Alma mater.
But he graduates magna cum laude.
Yeah.
And he's also the star quarterback of the football team. Like it makes mention. He's like, usually somebody that bright you also don't find to be, and I can do this voice because I'm from a very small town here in Texas. So, might not be what you come to expect for somebody to be so smart and also be so damn talented. Kind of thing.
Sure.
But he also got multiple degrees in it. Listen, it's like computer science.
Multiple degrees in things like computer science.
Yes. Like he's a genius.
Yeah.
We have another black condor on our hands.
Yeah, sure.
Right. All he's done is work.
He just sets the book on his head at night and it just
I need to
goes into his brain.
I need to make this clear. This is not me bashing the profession of truck drivers at all.
Oh no.
This is me. And I think everybody
Backbone
knows
of America.
This is me looking at the ridiculousness of they were like, well, we want him to be a truck driving character, but to make the rest of the story work because it's comics, he also has to be a genius and be a physical specialist.
Sure. Yeah.
But so during his summer vacation, like right after graduating, he's riding with his brother Jeff.
With his 7 degrees.
Who's
Jeff's sitting upside down in the back seat. Got his pants off.
He's riding down the road through the mountainous area with his brother Jeff when they're attacked by a man called the Highwayman.
Uh-oh.
Right?
Uh-oh.
Who's like the scary goblin-looking creature.
It says he's in an all-black 18-wheeler.
He is. It's all black.
Oof.
They call it the Big Black Rig.
Oh, no.
So.
Big Black Rig.
Big Black Rig.
Sure.
It knocks the 18-wheeler that US and Jeff are in off the side of a mountain.
Just read ahead. I'm sorry.
I gotta quit sending you show notes.
No, I'm just saying. I'm following I'm picturing this crash in my head.
Yeah. So they knocks it off the side of a mountain, right?
Yeah.
And it leaves. It presumably kills Jeff.
And you say presumably
because US doesn't think he's dead.
Okay.
US is like what US remembers is he's crawling back. He's woozy like towards the cabin to save Jeff.
Sure.
There's an explosion. Like he remembers the Highwayman up top, like looking down and laughing. But then these strange creatures like coming towards the wreck, which Ed Papa Wheelie tries to tell him that it's probably just like the Highwayman's, he was knocked silly kind of thing.
Sure. Seeing things.
And about that time as he's going to get Jeff, like there's an explosion and he blacks out.
Right.
He doesn't think Jeff's dead, though.
Okay.
Well.
Who's the smart one now?
Yeah. So he Ed and Wide Load. which is a weird thing
Sure.
to say. Ed and Wideload are there with the doctors, and they tell them, hey, he's in bad shape. His head's all messed up. We have this like special scientific surgery that we want to try.
Right.
And basically they give him a metal computer-like skull. Right?
Sure.
But not brain. It's just a skull.
We've had this thing sitting around for a while. Thank God.
It's brand new.
We just want to use it.
He's like, it's brand new. We haven't used it
Sure.
out. And Papa Wheelie's like, hey, whatever it is to save our boy kind of thing. So they do that. And what powers does it give him, Mike?
Wide loads on the side. I'll make some gravy.
What powers does it give him? Absolutely none.
Oh,
He
nice.
just has a hard head because it comes up. He gets in fights.
Yeah,
There's a fight every issue at the shortstop.
sure. There should be.
Why not? Because apparently, according to this comic, truckers are the rowdiest bunch of people ever, and they will get
Right.
into a fight no matter what.
Right.
Because it's like a truck stop / diner.
Well, they're known for their free whiskey shots at the door.
Oh,
So,
yeah. So he gets in fights, and it has scenes, of course, where he gets hit and that like other people will punch him and be like, oh, my hand. So he has a hard head.
Yeah.
And he can pick up CB radio frequencies, Mike,
In his head.
in his head.
That's nice.
He's like, oh, I have a headache. Hold on. And he like, and he can pick up CB radio.
Dan Forgan,
waves.
buddy. That's great. What a power.
He also now, because he's on a mission, because he thinks Jeff's still alive, he's going to hunt down Jeff and find
Gotta
his
go hunt
brother.
down stupid Jeff.
And he's gonna seek revenge on the highwayman.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
his goals now, right?
Yeah,
All
I
that
get that,
college he
yeah.
went to, everything that was sacrificed for him to do,
Yeah,
that 7
yeah.
degrees. I'm just going after the highwayman and
Well,
finding my brother.
everything changes when you have to have your skull replaced.
Exactly. I would think not much would change, except apparently has a hard head and CB radio frequencies.
I don't know if you've ever had to have your skull replaced, but many things change.
Oh, have you been through that?
Not me, but no one I know.
Oh,
either.
okay.
So,
Okay. Well, but I mean, that makes sense, I guess. So he's also used all the smarts he has now to upgrade
Oh, there you go.
his own truck. Like
Yeah.
him and Papa put together, like they nos the thing up and they make it where, add so much. It's super fast rig now. He takes all of this computer science knowledge and he adds weapons to his 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
That is called US-1.
Because he's got computer science and other degrees.
Exactly.
Sure.
So his tractor trailer is called US-1, hence the name of the.
Right.
But
Let's
he
sell
adds
some trucks.
He adds oil slicks to it,
Yeah.
and tacks,
Oil slicks.
and homing missiles,
tacks, homing missiles.
and
sure.
trackers, because he wants this to be real life Mario Kart.
Yeah, he's like Spider-Man with a CB.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he also rigs. I don't remember. He like makes this computer system and makes it look like a silver dollar, and he can control the truck by running his finger. It's like a remote control on a silver, dollar.
Wow, that's fantastic.
It is.
Yeah.
So
Don't lose it.
also at one point in time, because I mean, again, I read all 12 of these. I'm giving you at least the story in general, but there's still some ridiculousness that I'm not
Sure.
like. It could be a 3-hour episode if I explain everything. At one point in time, something happens, and he's able to control his truck with his mind.
See, that makes more sense. Probably what happened is they were doing 50-cent wings at the shortstop, and he paid them with that silver dollar. Got him a couple of wings for the road, and then he's like, oh, shit, now I can't do anything with my truck. And so he had to figure out how to do it with his head.
Could be.
And I'm sure he just thought real hard and was able to do it.
That's
Like the Black Condor.
yeah. Actually,
Okay, I can do it now.
So as I said, US takes it upon himself now.
He's hunting him down. Hunting down the highwayman.
Before we get into the rest of this
Sure.
story, let's focus on just a couple characters that make some appearances that we'll talk a little bit about.
That second one,
Just
I did
briefly.
not read that as that word.
I didn't either
But
the first
yes,
time it
gotcha.
popped up.
Sure.
And so it scared the mess off me. I was like, there is no way they named a character that. And then I had to be like, it's 1983.
So I'm going to skip to the second character.
Let's just start with that.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Retread.
Yeah, I did not read that way. Yeah.
And the first time I saw it pop up in the comics, I was like, no, please tell me they didn't. And I reread it. So his name is Retread.
Retread.
And he just randomly shows up at the shortstop one day and basically becomes US's partner.
Hey, want to be partners?
Well,
sure.
like-
Okay.
There's a woman, and we'll get to her here in a second,
Right.
because she comes up in part of the main story, named Tyrion, who brings him in. Like, I don't know if she finds him on the road or something, brings him to the shortstop, and he's like, just hangs around. And so he starts traveling with US.
Yeah.
So Retread's around there some. There's somebody named Midnight, who is a villain, who has a hypnotic whip.
Yeah,
So
a hypnotic whip.
this whip, like instead of where you would think would sit there and it goes, this whip, unlike others, will not break the skin, but instead break the mind because it's a hypnotic whip.
Okay, all right.
So she snaps it and basically people.
Well, I mean, it's not that far from Wonder Woman, right?
Well, I mean,
She makes them tell the truth.
Yeah. But this
Right.
one, like she snaps it by them and then tells them what to do. She puts them under hypnosis.
Yeah.
And there's a part of the storyline where she does this to US and she tries to steal his truck. And he asks her for one last request for a piece of gum because she has him driving into a mountain.
Sure.
And he takes the gum and he eats it with the wrapper on.
The foil wrapper. Right.
On. And when it hits his feelings, it causes his head, his CB radio brain to go crazy, and the interference knocks off her hypnosis that she set on him.
Right,
Do you see what I say? I read all of
that's
this.
wonderful. Yeah, yeah. Somebody really thought about this.
This is so dense. And no, this isn't like I had to go to like foreign websites to find some of this stuff. Because
isn't that ironic for USA?
It is, because this is a Marvel comic. I know I mentioned who we brought it up, but
right.
I didn't mean that it was a Marvel comic book series that debuted in '83. So this is Marvel Comics. Marvel has their Marvel Unlimited app where you can go and read things.
Right.
These comics aren't on there.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Also,
they were having a real hard time with that retread.
I'm running. You know what I'm running into, Mike? I'm running into a lot of problems where I find these great characters and they're not on these apps. Like these companies don't want us to know, which means that these are going to be great.
They've retconned all these characters.
So I told you about how he reset his CB frequencies to override his brain and break out of the trance. We also find out later that she's the waitress at the shortstop, whose name is Mary McGill.
That's what I was wanting you to get to. That's great.
Yeah.
And then I love your next sentence.
Oh,
shows up in a later issue as a foil.
But never wins.
But she's a foil. I think that's a great callback to the gum.
Oh,
yeah,
you know what? I see.
She shows up as a foil.
I'm so smart. I didn't even realize how smart I am. She works for the Highwayman. So many
degrees.
I not as many as US, but I've got some.
Sure.
She works for the Highwayman as well as Baron von Blimp does.
Baron von Blimp. You know, when I was living in Austin, I used to go get the steak and cheese at the Baron von Blimp. It was great.
Was it?
Yeah, really good stuff.
Is that what?
I just made that up.
I was gonna say
stupid joke.
Well, I don't know. It made me think of Blimpies for some reason. You remember Blimpies though? So
that's where I was going.
Baron von Blimp does have a blimp. He challenges US to a duel between his blimp and Archer's truck.
Sure.
And it's like, why? And he basically goes, because ever since like the blimp accidents, people have been hating on blimps, and I'm here to show people. Like, obviously, I'm paraphrasing this, but I'm here to show people.
Ever since the blimp accidents.
Yeah, like, you know.
In 1800.
Ever since the Heisenberg.
Yeah. Heisenberg?
Not Heisenberg.
Hindenburg. The Heisenberg.
Heisenberg's Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's Breaking Bad. Yeah, that's a different podcast. Welcome to the Heisenberg.
I'm the one who knocks.
Yeah.
When it comes to
you know there's a podcast out there called The One That Knocks.
Oh, there has to. No, there's multiple ones.
Multiples. Yeah. The One That Knocks too.
Yeah. But if
I am also the one that knocks.
If you run one of those podcasts and you like this, just give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, sure.
And good luck on your podcast.
We didn't make fun of you at all.
Not at all. So he's trying to
retread.
Now that seems harsh. So he wants to challenge him to a race. This race is also presented by the Great Chicken Colonel, who is a knockoff, obviously, of Colonel Sanders.
Is he a knockoff, or is he literally like hawking chicken in the middle of this comic book?
He is. He's making it the finger-licking chicken race.
That's great.
Basically,
kids, before the pandemic, we used to have this place called KFC, and they would encourage you to lick your hands after you ate some messy ass chicken.
Yes, but this
Don't
is
do
not,
that now.
But this is not KFC. It's the Great Chicken Colonel.
The Great Chicken Colonel,
who obviously is a straight ripoff.
So I bet you, I bet you that they had in mind, oh yeah, we'll get KFC in on this thing, and blah. And then KFC said, nah, we're good.
Maybe.
And so they had to go, okay, it's a Great Chicken Colonel. We couldn't get anybody else. Churches doesn't have a colonel, so
yeah. So Baron basically challenges him to the race and also tells US like, hey, I have information about the Highwayman. If you beat me, I'll tell you. So that's why US agrees to it to begin with.
Yeah.
But the race is basically because their product is fresh, never frozen.
What? For real? It says that in it?
Well, they are hauling chicken parts.
Oh, I gotcha.
That's why it's the race.
Yeah,
So it like
yeah,
weighs them down too. Well, basically through the whole race, the Baron is working with the highwayman to try to capture US for him.
Yeah.
But Archer just ends up with his weapons and stuff, like just defeating the Baron, and the Baron runs away. There's also this whole other story that I'm gonna wrap up real quick. Another part about the Baron because it'll come real. The Baron like disappears for like 6 episodes, and he comes back. There's a little side story that was so uninteresting that I just didn't read.
I gotcha.
But where there's like a group of rich people in town that are trying to buy the shortstop.
Oh,
like they wanted to foreclose on it because they want to open up apartments down there.
Right.
And they hire the Baron to help them,
so
it's convince the people.
So it's an 80s movie.
It is.
They're shutting down the ski lodge.
It's an 80s movie.
My father's buying it. I'll race you to the end.
I'm telling you this just for the big climactic thing at the end for when it comes up.
Sure.
So that was a side one. After the failed chicken race, they attempt to have another one because why not? And this is when I told you the girl Tyrion, who brought Retread with her.
Tyrion O'Connell.
Tyrion O'Connell, which of course, Mike, it's the 80s. She's got to be a redheaded Irish person.
Sure. She probably has a chest on her too.
Yes.
I would imagine.
And they dress her kind of like Marianne from
Gilligan's Island?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know why.
Well, she is hanging out with chicken people at a truck stop.
Well, she hangs out. She has a thing for US. Both her and the waitress, Midnight, both. Like US is a ladies'
Midnight tried
man.
to kill him, but she still has a thing for him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
I like how you defeated me.
But also, Tyrion likes to go by her nickname, Tyrion down the highway.
Good God, come on.
There is so much.
That's a very lazy thing. Tearing down the highway.
Here's the thing: it was mentioned once by the writers.
Yeah.
Written with like tongue fully in cheek by, but they only say that for one issue.
You know,
and here's the issue that it was written on, Mike. I didn't even bring it up. There's a whole issue where part of the comic is told from the truck's perspective.
That's the one I want to read.
And that is the one that it's written in. So I don't know if they're talking about that one issue or the whole series, because on others it's just written by.
They like threw everything at the wall on this one and tried to make it stick.
I'm not even done with how much.
Yeah, I got you.
So they tried the chicken race again. Miss tearing down the highway. She's going to race US in the new chicken race.
Yeah.
During the second chicken race, though, there's a fake detour sign that US takes.
Like Wile E. Coyote.
Coyote. And they're going and they run into an earthquake all of a sudden.
Uh-huh.
And he maneuvers around an earthquake and it's like a blizzard.
Oh.
And he maneuvers around a blizzard and we get like a view out and it's like a maze that he's going through with a natural disaster, like 4 different natural disasters he has to drive through.
Yeah.
And he comes out the other side of a maze to an alien in a spaceship, Mike.
Sure.
Because what do we not have yet? It's the 80s. We don't have aliens.
That's right.
So he comes into contact with aliens.
I just read that.
And US walks out and he's like, hey, welcome to our planet. I'm US Archer. Do you speak English? And the alien starts talking back to him in CB slang because why wouldn't they?
Hey, good buddy. Well, the part I was laughing at is it says the alien said he needed some chicken parts out of his truck to power up his spaceship.
Yes.
Chicken parts.
That's after they talk. He's like, I just had to test you to make sure that you were the best trucker in all this. But while you're here, like,
could I get a thigh?
He's like, our spaceship runs on all natural, fuel, unlike y'all stuff.
Sure.
So he's
you guys ruining the planet.
He steals some chicken parts, leaves. Oh, and I didn't tell you this. The reason that he's US is able to figure out that somebody's behind this maze.
Yeah.
His CB brain, baby.
Oh, his CB
brain. He can pick up the satellite.
Sure. He's picking up spaceships now.
So, as a thank you for the chicken parts, the alien. See, I didn't have it written all in here, Mike.
It's great. Thank you for the chicken parts.
Thank you for the chicken parts.
Mm-hmm. We're going to cure cancer.
He transports US back to the shortstop to win the race.
Oh, that's all he gives him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey,
not we're curing cancer.
You're the best. You're the best trucker in the world.
Not even like, hey, we're going to get rid of acne for you guys.
Nope.
Let us give you a secret.
Nope. He's like, hey, you're the best trucker in the world. I'll help you out with this race.
So was he alien looking? I mean, was he like the true green man?
Yeah, he's a green man. He kind of looks like
cat eyes,
like a mix of he looks like the
Jimmy Durante.
I think of Frosty the Snowman when you say that for some reason.
Yeah, it's not
Frosty.
That's Burl Ives.
Burl Ives is the snowman in
Oh, you're right. In
Rudolph.
Rudolph.
Jimmy Durante.
Did Jimmy Durante do?
I'm pretty sure. On
Frosty?
the first one, yeah.
Hey, welcome to Jimmy Durante Talk.
Hey.
Ha-cha-cha-cha.
But they kind of look like the aliens from Rick and Morty a little bit.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The like green ones with like the Dr.
Yeah.
Froyberg.
Yeah. I got you.
They're a Futurama reference too.
Yeah.
So I have to speed this up because again, I could take forever just going into all of this.
Sure.
Basically, the highwayman who's been the big bad, who we've seen battle, who has all this kind of technology, like just, he's able to like walk on like, energy and just, he's crazy. Turns out to be his brother, Jeff.
Wait, Jeff was in the truck with him.
Yeah, no. Turns out it was a dummy that he put in
It was a fake
in
Jeff?
in his black. No,
Fake
he
Jeff.
dressed up a dummy like the highwayman in his black rig, and he controlled it with his powers.
Oh, Jeff, you weren't so dumb at all, were you?
To knock them off.
Got it.
You want to know why though? Jeff has, and I'm gonna get all out of whack here from this final part, but I can explain it better.
Okay.
In chronological order, this to make sense. It's not chronological, but it'll make sense because the comic didn't.
Sure.
So we find out that a long time ago that the aliens, for some reason, are looking for the best trucker in the universe.
Right.
They have like tons of shipments to haul out in space.
Well, it's the original long haul.
Exactly.
Sure, yeah.
So they're looking for that. They know it's an Archer. They know it's U.S. Archer because he's so good.
Yeah.
But the scout that the main alien, we don't know their names. And by the way, we find out later that they don't speak CB. They've studied all sorts of media to kind of talk to like the closest to what you're used to.
Yeah.
Because they are so much smarter than us.
Right. They're aliens.
Yeah. He
Sure,
was like, we didn't come here for intelligent life.
No.
We came here for.
We came here for a trucker.
We did. For that.
For a gypsy trucker.
For that can-do spirit you Americans have.
For real? Is that what they say? Can-do spirit?
They don't say that. It's basically implied.
Oh, that would be great.
But it's just like your
blink, blop, blorp, can-do
your
spirit.
Heart and stuff. Like, you as Americans are just such salt of the earth people. That's why we're here as aliens. But so they send a scout to find U.S. Archer.
Yeah.
And the scout finds the wrong Archer. He finds Jefferson.
Jeff.
Jeff wants this to happen. Ever since his parents died, Jeff has been pissed.
Jeff's like, I'm gooder than him.
That U.S. is so much better at everything.
I drive so much harder.
Like, according to U.S., he thought his brother like was always letting him win.
Right.
Because he was a nice brother. Like, he thought they were friends. He really loved his.
Sure.
But no, Jeff just couldn't beat him. Like, he loathed.
Jeff's a dumbass.
He loathed U.S. But like,
it doesn't say much for U.S. if he got outwitted by Jeff.
That's true.
I mean, Jeff's an idiot.
So,
here comes U.S. and he goes, I'm going to put a puppet up there and make it look like the big spooky man.
Yeah, all it is the whole time is Jeff wearing a mask as the highwayman, by the way. It's not
gotcha.
So,
it's just black. It's just a piece of black cloth over his face. You can't see what's going on.
Like
I'm a highwayman. Watch out.
Yeah.
For some reason, he's got guns.
So, and like, Jeff was just so mad that U.S. went to college to get all those degrees.
Sure.
And then just wanted to be a trucker still. Like, Jeff's like, I worked hard to help you put you through school. And
I picked up all them sticks.
And I didn't poke anybody in the eye.
I moved them sticks from left to right and then back to left. It was hard. Thanks, Jeff.
So like Jeff is just never liked U.S. basically, right?
Sure.
And so he thought that since the alien confused him for U.S., it was his turn to be like the best at something. And he was going to be the best space trucker. Sure. But they started to realize just by watching.
Every kid. I mean, when you ask them, it's either policeman, fireman, or space trucker.
Yeah.
I mean, kids.
Exactly.
These kids today.
And so the aliens find out that they found the wrong Archer.
Whoa.
And the scout that they sent, all we know is he's been taken care of.
He's the Jeff of the aliens.
Maybe. Except the aliens don't put up with no BS because
I can't stand Blork.
No,
look what
they
he
were
did.
just like, he has been handled.
Cut him up.
Yeah, they were just like, he's been taken care of.
Well, they probably put him in there since it's natural parts run the spaceship. They just threw him in the gas tank.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And they're like, that'll fuel us for a couple days.
Yeah, there you go.
So they had basically
Blork always was a little big boned.
Yeah. Poor Blurk.
Big boned.
They had given Jeff all their alien technology because they thought he was Archer. That's all the powers he had.
These guys are idiots too.
Everybody's stupid.
We're so smart.
So basically, they decide that they're going to have one last race on even ground between the two. Oh,
Even
sorry.
ground.
I'm sorry. I didn't finish. The strange creatures that were headed down to the wreckage that US saw, it was the aliens trying to go to save them.
Oh, wow.
And then the explosion, the doctors that recommended the skull surgery or the metal skull surgery,
They were
was
aliens.
aliens disguised as doctors.
Oh, man. This is a real whodunit.
I know, right? So
Stupid
while
comic
this fracas is going on, I think
book.
that's a good word
Yeah,
for
I
this.
love it. Yeah.
So there's aliens, the highwaymen's there. There's a brawl from other things that are happening at the shortstop.
Well, it's the shortstop. There's always a fight.
The rich people I told
on
you
the
about.
sign.
The rich people I told you about that hired
Yeah.
Baron von Blimp.
Right.
He decides to go drop soldiers off
Oh,
to attack them to just
blimp soldiers.
no Nazi soldiers.
Those are his blimpies.
They're Nazis. Why? They're like, he goes, you might have wondered why I picked Nazis. Obviously, they're writing it in a German accent. And he goes, really, I'm not German. They just have the best uniforms.
Well, he's not wrong. I mean, they really did. They
And
were
I'm
snappy
like-
dressers.
And I was like, what in the world is this? Eventually, the aliens take care of all that. Oh, no, the aliens to fix it, just, remember how they transferred US's truck earlier?
Yes.
They transfer all the Nazi soldiers to Tel Aviv. To the square in Tel Aviv.
Okay.
And
The Nazis are like, we'll take care of that later.
no, and US is like, what's happening? And the aliens are like, they're getting their just due.
Okay.
So apparently the aliens have taken it upon themselves to be like, you know what? We're even going to make up for the atrocities that happened in World War II. We sent
they sent the Nazis to Tel Aviv.
They sent the Nazis to Tel Aviv.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
But it shows
Pardon
a
that
panel.
joke.
It shows a panel of where the Nazi soldiers are confused, but they're in a town square.
Uh-huh.
Now, I realize a lot has happened, but to me, it takes a giant leap for me to think that if soldiers just showed up, that immediately are in a square, that mob there is just going to jump on them and kill them, apparently.
Right. That's a big one.
But the alien thinks we're all savages, so that's what happened there.
Sure.
So now that they're all dispensive, there's only one thing left. Who's the best archer, right?
Right.
So
God, I hope it's Jeff.
they decide to have one last race for it all.
Right.
And
A lot of races.
it's a boring race, and I couldn't make it through
U.S. wins, I'm sure.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So U.S. is declared a special, hey, you're the cool space trucker now who's going to do space deliveries for us.
I would like to read this last line of yours, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the last sentence that Zach sent me this week. Well, the last one is, this was weird, but the sentence before that, it says, basically, the comic ends with all the main characters running the shortstop in space.
Yes.
There you go.
So
Happy ending.
U.S. is like, hey, all right, I'm going. Retread's like, oh, I want to go with them. And the alien's like, that's fine. Papa Wheelie and Wide Load Annie are sad. And they're like, oh, maybe we'll see him every now and then.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, y'all could run the shortstop up there.
Yeah.
And Tyrion and
We
Mary,
can't get a good energy drink up in space,
and Mary McGill, who called herself Lil,
let alone a space corn dog.
was the girl of somebody's fancy. And so she got to go up there too.
Sure.
So yeah, the shortstop's basically in space. And
None
that's
of
how
these
it
people
ends.
had family.
No.
They just plucked them out of the earth and said, okay, you're doing it. Oh, that's great. I will tell you, I love he looks like, I'm looking at the front of the comic book. He looks like the bad guy from Karate Kid,
Yes.
right? With the headband and the red jacket. And then down at the bottom of this Marvel comic book, on the opposite side where it shows Spider-Man, where the UPC should be, it says, high adventure trucking down the highway. Boy, that makes me, as a kid, want to pick that sucker up. High adventure trucking.
You know what? You remember how back in episode 1 we made fun of the kid whose favorite comic was
Yeah.
Black Condor?
Yeah.
That kid.
Oh no, this kid's so much worse.
Yeah.
This kid is so much worse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this kid doesn't even know that other comic books exist.
So
I love some high adventure trucking.
there you go. Oh, there's also a little fourth wall breakage when the aliens, I'll just add this last bit. When the aliens are talking about, oh, we're so smart, we studied all forms of media.
Yeah.
He starts talking in one way, very kind of Asgardian in a way, because he's like, for instance, we took this, or we even studied comic books. For instance, this is from one called Thor.
Oh my.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
How smart. What a smart book.
So there you go.
These guys are geniuses.
That's
that was great,
US
Zach. I really appreciate you putting that in my brain.
And
that was wonderful.
let me go ahead and get you excited for the nenext episode. I'm going to do something a little different.
Yeah.
Just because I came across another group of heroes called the New Guardians. It's related to it's a spinoff from something to do with Guardians of the Galaxy, but they had their own 12-issue thing.
Okay.
The characters in that all ridiculous.
That sounds great.
But that could very well be a long show that I'm going to split it up to this because the villains that they have to fight are absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
So the next episode, look forward to, we will call it Villains of the New Guardians.
Villains of the New Guardians. I love that.
There we go.
All
So
right.
that's
and I
what
will
you
not
go
look
forward
anything up. I will not read anything. I don't read it until we get in here. Just to take care of a little bit of housekeeping. Once again, for this episode, I am using the Testacuzzi for the nuts as my phone holder, and it did a wonderful job.
Maybe they could transition into phone holders.
I think that there's I'm just willing to bet that there's a lot of guys out there using this as a phone holder.
I highly doubt that most of the people who bought it ever used it.
You put your things in that, and you got trouble.
It just starts like
T.
electrocution.
Rhymes with P. Yeah, that's not great. All right, you want to give them our ways to reach us?
Let's go ahead. You can follow us on Instagram, Bros, Foes, Heroes.
Instagram.
Also, in the works, hopefully by the next episode, I'm going to go ahead and have a email address set up for us. If you want to go ahead and shoot us some comments, let us know what you think about the show.
Please.
Or also, even if there's somebody that that's super ridiculous.
Give us somebody weird to cover.
Yeah. I'll have all that set up by the next episode, so you can look forward to that.
I like it.
Or also, if you just want to send us some message on Instagram right now.
Again, brought to you by Testacuzzi for the nuts.
Oh, man. So that was US Archer. This has been Bros, Foes, and Heroes for Mike.
Yep.
I'm Zach. Stay safe. We'll see you next episode.
Bye.
Comic-Con!
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.